Today on the podcast, I'm joined by my very first repeat guest. Calli Studebaker is an occupational therapist who joined me back in episode 124, which is one of my most downloaded episodes, where we discussed how to prepare your child holistically for kindergarten. Well, after that episode, Callie and I decided to collaborate on a project that would help all parents of preschoolers feel confident sending their child off to kindergarten so their child feels confident and proud walking into school on that first day. I invited Callie back on the podcast today so we can discuss some myths related to kindergarten readiness and also to share with you that collaboration, that special project that we've been working on for the past few months that is now out in the world, available to you as of this recording. So you're going to want to make sure you listen until the very end so you hear all about the project that Callie and I have been working on, and you make sure that you are able to grab your ticket to this project before the doors close. If you have any questions about what we discuss on this episode, you can reach out to me on Instagram. I'm at Little Slev Learning Blog, or you can reach out to Callie. She's also on Instagram at Confident Kids Therapy. Hey, Callie, welcome back to the Little Slev Learning Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me back. I am so excited for what we have to talk about today.
We have a great topic today, and I'm so excited that you are my first repeat guest because you are an expert in kindergarten readiness, which a lot of the listeners of this podcast are preschool parents or possibly current kindergarten parents. So this is a very big topic in our world. So I love the idea for today's podcast where we are going to go over some of the myths that preschool parents who are sending their kids to kindergarten, some of the myths they might see online, and we're going to help debunk those myths so that they feel prepared to send their child to kindergarten in the fall. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay, so the very first myth we want to debunk is my child will be prepared for kindergarten because they are enrolled in preschool.
Yes, not true. So I've definitely heard this one, and not only just in my professional career, but also personally from like friends who have kids that are in preschool that they feel fine about their kid being ready for kindergarten because they're in preschool, whether that be 3 days or 4 days or 5 or just a half day. And I just want to emphasize the fact that like a ton of research has been done on this topic, and studies have linked the importance of family engagement and discussing the impact of parental involvement on children's academic and social success. So research has shown that if parents are involved in learning at home, they have better success in school later on past kindergarten, past elementary. So I just want to emphasize too that it's not just us saying it to say it. There is a lot of research to back this up and why this myth is not true.
Yes, thank you for saying that. Sometimes I see online when people send their child to preschool, they feel like that's enough. They trust the preschool teachers as the experts, which I so appreciate as a teacher. And I've taught preschool before, virtual preschool, which was also very quite an experience. So I love that parents are trusting the preschool teachers. So it's not to de-emphasize the value of preschool. I see a huge value in sending your child to preschool. But with that said, there's also a huge value of working with your child at home. It is a team effort. We are working together to prepare that child for kindergarten. And
Yeah.
the idea that you don't have a role in it because you're trusting the school to do all of the preparation, I think it's just putting a lot on the school. You absolutely have a role in it as a parent.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And I think to add to that, I would say that a kid's love for learning begins at home. Like, I know that school is so important and preschool is so important, but they can only do so much if the child isn't supported at home first to have that initial innate love for learning. And I feel like that can be supported best at home.
That is so true. And I think the other idea that kindergarten readiness is not really a thing that sometimes you see online, like it's not a topic that needs to be discussed. If your child's enrolled in preschool, you're good. You don't even have to think about it. It goes beyond the checklist that people have online, free checklists for kindergarten readiness. There's so much that is involved with it, but it absolutely does matter. It is a thing. Even if your child's enrolled in preschool, it is something to consider and to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it goes past academics, right? Like it starts with the social emotional piece. It starts with joint attention, and they learn a lot of those different skills through interacting with their parents and then interacting with other adults too outside of their home. So I feel like preschool and support at home just go hand in hand, and it needs to be a team effort for children to succeed.
Totally, totally agree. Okay, should we move on to myth number 2?
I'm ready.
The second myth that preschool parents might hear and they might believe is that kindergarten readiness starts when they enroll their child in preschool. So there is nothing that happens before their child turns 3 and heads to preschool. Is that true?
No, and can I say that it starts in like infancy? And when it comes to school readiness, because I feel like the two major things that kids need prior to entering kindergarten is a sense of self regulation, whether that be participating in co regulation with another adult or self regulation. They're able to regulate their own emotions and joint attention. And these are executive functions that a kid needs to have in order to have access to their learning. Because if we are not in a state of awareness, emotionally able to manage our feelings and our energy, and then we also don't have that ability to like sustain attention with a task or with another person, it's going to be a really big challenge for them to pay attention in school, interact with their peers, interact with their teacher, interact with materials in the classroom, and those skills, those two skills, self-regulation and joint attention, start really, really early on, and it's before preschool where we need to start building those skills.
I think that's such an important point. We're not saying that you should start when your child is in infancy and toddlerhood because you want them to be the top of the class and enroll them in Harvard by the time they're
No.
15. It has nothing to do with that. We are building these skills. The earlier we start, the longer runway we have to work on these skills so that when they do enter kindergarten, they are, like you said, going to be able to access the learning. They're going to be in a much better place than had their parents waited and not worked on any of these skills until they entered preschool or even until the summer before kindergarten. We want that long runway for them to have that time.
Yeah, for sure. And if they have those executive functioning skills kind of already going, already learning and developing, they're going to be really prepared for kindergarten. But like you said, it's not just to like be the top of the class. It's really just to have access to the things that they need to be an independent and a successful human. We don't need everyone to go to Harvard. We need all kinds. But I don't want anyone to fall behind either. I want everyone to have access to the things they need and need to know at that age level, just at a baseline.
That's so true. And I'm just thinking about my son in kindergarten this year and looking at the students in his class and thinking, all right, you have a class of 22 students with one teacher. So the better that those kids are able to regulate themselves, check in with themselves, kind of handle their behavior, their emotions, it's
Mhm.
better for the whole class. Because when one child is off and you have one teacher in there, and it pulls everybody's attention away from the learning. It doesn't run like a smooth, well oiled machine. So,
Yeah.
we as parents have such a huge role in working with our kids, like you said, starting in infancy and toddlerhood, so that when they get there, they're going to be a contributing member of that classroom. They're going to be a strong member of that community and one that is supported and can support others instead of maybe pulling everybody's attention off of the task.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, kids are gonna have their moments. It's you're in
Of
kindergarten, you're
course.
in preschool, like we're not expecting perfection, but I feel like some sort of foundation and awareness of, oh, this person's crying. They must be really sad. And I wonder why. Like having that sort of empathy start to develop too. But I'm not expecting kids to like be on it every single day and be 100% because as adults, we aren't 100% every day. Um, but I just think building a foundation, just having a really strong foundation from the beginning, um, and knowing that readiness for kindergarten does not start at preschool. I think that's the biggest take home I want like from this myth is it starts way before that and just continuing to build their skills and their foundation before preschool or kindergarten.
So true. But is it too late if someone hasn't started working on these skills yet, or is there always time?
Always time.
Yeah, there's
There's
always time. So if
always
you're listening, don't worry. There's still time.
tomorrow. Second best time to start is now.
That's right. For so many things. All right. Let's talk about myth number 3. And this one is near and dear to my heart, of course, as a literacy specialist. My child doesn't need to do any literacy skills before they go to kindergarten because that is what kindergarten is for.
Not true.
Not true. If you followed me for any length of time, you know that is not true.
Would you like to debunk this myth?
I would love to. I would love to talk about this because, again, it goes back to what we were just saying. I am not suggesting that parents work on literacy skills because you want your child to be the top of the class and enroll in Harvard when they're 15. But I am suggesting that you start, just like you said, with even in infancy and toddlerhood, we are building their language skills. And in preschool, we are building a lot of their phonological and phonemic awareness skills because if they enter kindergarten without that foundation of literacy skills, they are going to be so behind and so lost. And sometimes I get pushback online when I talk about this because parents or influencers will say, that's what kindergarten is for. Child doesn't need to be reading before kindergarten. True, your child does not need to be reading before kindergarten, but that doesn't mean that you don't have a responsibility to prepare them to learn how to read before kindergarten. There's so many skills that you can be working on and should be working on. And in fact, there are pre-K standards. So if you have not checked out the pre-K standards in your state or in your district, I recommend that you check them out, or you can reach out to me because I have free pre-K standards. In fact, I will link them down below. There are actually standards we want our preschoolers to work on and potentially master some of them before they leave and go to kindergarten. So it is not the idea that they're going to go to kindergarten and learn it all. It's impossible to learn it all once you turn 5. You have 5 years to work on these skills, this foundation and this base, and that's what we want to work on.
Yeah, I agree. I want to throw out another myth. Just
Ooh, myth number 4, bonus myth.
that a child needs to sit at a table and do worksheets and routine things in order to learn new concepts related to reading, math, writing, all of these different academic things they're going to be learning in kindergarten have to be done at a table.
I love this myth. Thank you for sharing that. All right, go ahead and debunk it for us, Callie.
It's not true. I am such an advocate for, as an occupational therapist, I feel very strongly about movement and play, and having multi-sensory activities to learn new skills. And I incorporate this in my sessions as a school therapist, as a home therapist. We are always moving, we are always learning through play. And I really don't do a ton of worksheets, to be honest with you. So
So you're
there's
saying I don't need to buy the kindergarten readiness workbook at my local Barnes and Noble to prepare my child for kindergarten?
no, because they'll probably teach you how to write letters incorrectly.
And if they use X for xylophone, throw it out. You know how I feel about keywords for letter sounds.
Yeah, no,
Thank you for sharing this.
I just like it popped in my head. Like I feel like so many parents are thinking about kindergarten readiness and buying those specific books and like this is gonna get them ready. When really when we talk about joint attention, it's through play that they learn how to have joint attention. It's building a connection with the child, engaging with them eye to eye on their level on the floor, and that also you can learn self-regulation easily through play as well. So yeah,
And you
there's
can absolutely learn all the literacy skills you need to learn through play as well. There is no need to be doing worksheets. There is no need to be doing paper, pencil, anything. You can learn everything you need to learn to prepare to read and to start reading without that. Sitting down at a table, not moving, don't make any noise. That doesn't work for preschoolers or kindergartners. They need to be moving and they need to be playing, and that's how they're going to learn those skills.
yes. And if you're gonna do that one single worksheet, I don't know, throw it outside, throw it on a art easel, have them be moving, have them be standing, if you have those and you want to do them, but it can be done through play.
Yes, or put it in a sensory bin or cut it up and make it a scavenger hunt.
Yep.
I agree. There are ways to make it more interactive and fun.
Awesome.
Okay, so Callie, we've busted now 4 myths about kindergarten readiness
Special
and
bonus one.
special bonus one, my favorite. And now I'm wondering, what can we offer parents who are listening who are thinking, okay, yes, I'm on board. I debunk these myths. I want to prepare my child for kindergarten. They're heading into kindergarten this fall, but I don't want to sit them at a table and do paper pencil worksheets. I know that preschool hasn't prepared them solely. I have a role in this. How am I going to prepare my child for kindergarten in a holistic way? What do I do?
Well, I'm so glad you asked because we have a very special, one of a kind virtual parent conference, and it's called the Learn and Play 2K virtual conference for parents, all about kindergarten readiness. And we have 19 experts that will give a variety of talks on different topics related to preparing your child the best that you can, very holistically for kindergarten. So we have occupational therapists like myself, but other ones that have different specialties, different expertise in different areas. We have people like you who are specialized in literacy. We have physical therapists. We have a speech therapist. We have so many different people. It's hard to keep track of all of the different experts, but we are just so passionate about this topic. So we decided to team together and rally in our friends that are also in this space that have a platform and are also passionate about educating parents on how to best support their children at home through all of these different ways. So, yeah, I'm so excited. You want to give other details too about it?
Yes. Well, Callie and I collaborated on this project because we are both so passionate about kindergarten readiness and we come from different backgrounds. And we wanted to bring together all the experts so you could have this holistic way of preparing your child for kindergarten. So, our conference is going to be June 3rd through the 7th, 2024. So, it's 5 days. We will have the talks released every day, but you don't have to listen to it that day because you are going to have lifetime access to these talks, which is so important for parents because we know how busy you are, especially in the summer. If your child is on summer break, we know it might take you a little bit longer to listen, but they are going to be available to you online. So you can listen while you're doing dishes or doing laundry or out for a walk so that you can get this information. We are going to have a Facebook group though, because we want it to be an interactive community of parents who are all sending their kids to kindergarten in the fall. We're going to have lots of prizes. You can ask the experts your direct question. It can be your specific question about your child in that Facebook group, and they will answer it in that week, which is so cool. Kelly and I were talking before we started recording that these experts, they charge quite a lot of money for their services, as they should. They have so much education and knowledge and experience, and you are getting access to them all for a week for such a reasonable price. And so we wanted to make sure we could bring these experts to you no matter where you live and what kind of services you have in your community. So if you are listening to this podcast in real time, it is being released on May 23rd, 2024. The doors are open to our conference. Tickets are on sale right now. I'm going to leave the link down below so you can click on that link, read all about our amazing experts. You can buy your tickets. Tickets are only $37 for an entire week's worth of information and all of the presentations you're going to get. Plus, all of the speakers have a freebie for you. So you're going to get free gifts as well. And tickets will be on sale for $37 for the early bird pricing. So if you buy your tickets between now, May 23rd, and Memorial Day, which is May 27th, 2024, you will save some money. If you buy your tickets after Memorial Day, they'll still be on sale, but they're going to be a little bit more expensive at $47. And the whole conference closes on May 31st, 2024. So if you don't get your tickets by May 31st, you are going to miss out on this opportunity to prepare your child for kindergarten this summer so that when they walk into their classroom on that first day in August or September, whenever you start, they are going to feel so confident and proud. You might be feeling a little weepy crying in the car after drop off. I know from experience, I definitely did that when my kids started kindergarten, but they are going to feel so confident and ready.
Yeah, for sure. And I just want to emphasize too, just coming from a parent standpoint who has a preschooler, I am looking forward to listening to all of these different talks. 'Cause there's so much, even like I still want to learn and know about this topic, but there's just so much out there and there's so much information, and having it come directly from an expert in that area is so key, especially because you can just Google anything and find what you're looking for. But when it comes to your child, I think we all know, like as parents, we want the very best for them. And that's what we want to give parents, like reliable, actionable information that you can implement this summer to hopefully ease your tears and ease your anxiety as a parent. Because I know for me, like, I want the best for my kid when it comes to her entering kindergarten. And there's a lot that I feel like we can do in this year's time, or even just if you have a summer, there's so much that you can accomplish in a summer. So this isn't to stress you out, it is just to empower you as a parent to know that you are in charge of your child's education. And yeah, there's just there's a lot of power in learning all of this stuff and implementing it at home before they have that expectation in school.
That's so true. And I love how you said that. We're empowering parents to take back their power and control in this situation. Life isn't happening to you. Your child, things aren't happening to your child. You get to choose how you prepare them. And by making the choice to join this conference, learn from the experts, you are in the driver's seat of your child's preparation for school.
Because we debunked that myth.
Yes, yes, we did. I also wanted to say, as a teacher who has seen kids enter kindergarten, both prepared and unprepared, there is a huge difference. We can see the difference in the classroom as teachers. When I'm volunteering in the classroom, I can absolutely tell. And I don't mean just academically. I'm not talking about this idea of kids, like we said, sitting quietly at a table and not moving. That's not what I'm talking about. But you can see the confidence in kids who walk in knowing, I've got this, I can do this, because they worked on so many different skills. And if you notice, we talked very little about academics. Of course, there's some academics, but I like to say this conference goes beyond the ABCs and one, two, threes. That's why we can't just have worksheets. That's why we can't just have a checklist of, oh, your child knows this letter or they know this number. That's not what it's about. It's holistically, it's so much more than just academics.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
I am so excited too. All of our speakers are so excited. So, again, if you are interested in the Learn and Play to K Kindergarten Readiness virtual conference, please check out the link below. Tickets are on sale from May 23rd through May 31st, 2024. Then the doors will close, and the conference is going to be that first week of June. It's June 3rd through the 7th. You don't want to miss this. It's a one of a kind conference. I've never seen anything else like this online. So
Haven't
it
even
is,
like being in this space, like I'm like, is anyone doing this yet? I
and
don't I have
I love that we're collaborating. It's this
yeah.
collaboration over competition. It's not a competition of who's preparing kids for kindergarten. We need everybody in this space. And like you said, you can Google anything or you can use AI to ask your questions. When it comes to your child, I'm not going to trust an AI answer about my specific child. I want an expert who has been in the field, who knows their stuff. And that's what we're giving you, access to an expert for an entire week. That's just amazing.
Yeah, I hope you join us. I'm excited to hear all the talks, and I hope to see you in the Facebook group too.
Yes. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I'm on Instagram at Littles Love Learning blog, or you can send me an email, Erin@littleslovelearning.com.
And I am also on Instagram at Confident Kids Therapy, and you can also email me any questions at Calli, that's Calli, at confidentkidstherapy.com.
Well, this has been awesome, Callie. I love debunking this myths with you. I love working on this conference with you. But before we go, I do have the question I ask every guest on the Littles Love Learning podcast. Since it's called Littles Love Learning, what is your favorite thing about working with littles?
I think I gave an answer last time, and I want to give something else that's different. I want to say it's building relationships with them and hearing all the funny things they say or even do. I had a kid in my session the other day just start breaking out in a dance while we were writing letters because we were standing up and writing on a chalkboard, and he just is like giving his dance moves. I'm like, this is fun. Like, we're not sitting at a desk and rote writing. Like, we are doing something multi-sensory. He's also having fun. So it was a good time. I
I
having
love that. They say the funniest things. I had a kindergartner say the other day, we were talking about a first grader and a second grader, a third grader. He said, well, I'm going to be a college grader one day.
oh
A
yes you are.
college grader. So cute.
It makes sense. So
Totally. Well, thank you so much for your time, Callie. And for everybody
No.
who's listening, we will see you at our conference, see you in the Facebook group, and we can't wait to get started.